So we're good to go on that. Hey, this is Yeshua Nettles. Again, this is the April 2nd AMA. We're going to get started. We're going to jump into this. Chris will be here in a second. So get first updates. Let's cover marketing. We are about to set a press release that's going to make the same announcement I'm going to do here. It's going to get on Yahoo Finance, Yahoo Money, and a few other similar sites in Canada, Singapore, Australia, and a few other places. Hong Kong, I think, is the other one. So we should get a lot of good coverage coming out of this announcement. We just got word that on Friday, or next Friday, or a little bit, or into next or the following week, Boda V2 is going to list us on BodaSwap. So we should also get some more good traction from that. We're in the process of submitting our CMC and CoinGecko applications. A lot of what we're doing now in the background is in preparation for that. So if anyone has been wondering if we're working on that, we definitely are. We're going to get that out there soon enough. And our charts look very stable and very steady. We think it's poised for a breakout. I think we just passed 600,000 a few minutes ago. So that should be good to go as well. We also had a video posted today by Adam Bergman. So if you haven't seen the link, it's in both chats. Please check it out. Please show him some love. It's an excellent video. He covers a lot of detail in it. And I think it's going to be another good video coming out that's going to bring in a lot of holders. We had some more videos earlier in the week that came out by Money Ninja and can't remember the other one by name, but it was the Unite DeFi actually. And they both have several thousand views. Again, we're seeing a lot of interest, a lot of traction. I think right now people are just trying to figure out how best to use the insurance for their investment strategies. So that's perfect. That's exactly what we want to see. Additionally, we've been in talks really throughout the week. I've had several phone calls with both Chain Analysis and Elliptic. Chain Analysis, or both companies actually, are very, very interested in what we're doing here. For both of them, they have to actually shift their methodology a little bit. So the next couple of days of them going through how they're doing their processes and determining how best they could readjust to match what we're actually trying to do. At the time, neither company really looks at projects on the Binance Smart Chain. So our project would be the first partner for them that would actually start moving in that direction. And they have actually broached the subject of partnerships. And I think that's mostly because we'll be allowing them to get more data in a way that they've not been able to do so up to this point. Usually they work with bigger clients in the sense of you got the lettered agencies, the FBI, the IRS. They also work with banks and insurance institutions at the mature asset level. You're talking about Bitcoin and Ethereum moving around, retirement plans, and so forth. So they really want to turn their attention to Binance writ large and the projects being built on them. So that's where we come in, and I think they're seeing a lot of interest in that. As the blockchain, or specifically Binance, becomes a dominant force in the sense that it's one of the lowest transaction cost blockchains right now, that has the usership that they're actually seeing a lot of activity on. So we're definitely on the cutting edge of that. I'm going to have a few more meetings with them next week. Also be meeting with CipherTrace. That meeting will also be just kind of comparing their specific projects or software to determine which one works best for us and which one's going to give us the best value. They're definitely flexible. They are really showing interest in what we're doing. So I'll provide more updates on that as we progress through next week. Henry, I'll let you come up real quick if you're on. We'll talk about real quick the tweet competition, and I'll let you then go ahead and post that on Twitter and into the Discord. Let me see if he's coming up. 1 second. If anyone has any questions, feel free to jump in. Meta Captain just joined as well. Meta Captain, did that go out?
I'm actually in the middle of clacking it all out right now. I'm a little bit over halfway done. Yeah, I had to break it down. I had to break it down into 48 small batches.
Okay, that's fine. I see it updated now, and we're gonna get to that one actually next. Okay, so we did actually do the retweet competition. I thought it did a really good job. We brought in a lot of new community members, so that's good, and we saw a lot of traction there. Let me see if he actually made the post yet. No. Uh, Let me announce. At least we'll announce a Twitter one, and then we'll send out a broadcast for the BSC scan winner because we don't have a name; it's still anonymous. But we'll put it out there, and they can DM us directly. But we'll make that payment no matter what. So Erica Rangel won the retweet competition. So we're going to reach out to her, DM her, get her information, and we will send her her payment as well. So we have two winners. One is still unknown to us. We'll post that in the Discord. If that is you, definitely reach out. Let us know that you got it. But it was a great competition, and we're going to do it. We're going to do some more here in the next week or so. Get something else started. Any ideas or something, just let us know that if you have a good idea too, because we can definitely knock that out. So right now, what I was just talking about with Chris is we just did a BNB DeFi airdrop. So we were thinking long and hard about the BNB DeFi scam earlier this week. So we decided to do basically an open invitation. We're sending them like about 1 billion shitcoin each. We bought them earlier and we're deploying them now. And the point is just to give an open invitation. We weren't able to cover that project. It hadn't even popped up on our radar yet by the time the scam was notified to, or brought up to my attention. But we wanted to let people know that both Chainalysis and Elliptic to see what they can show me about how their software works. So that is actually our test case right there. We're going to track that contract and see how far into the system they can see based on where the money went from that scam. The airdrop itself shouldn't create any sell pressure. We didn't send enough for them to immediately sell off. But as we grow over the next couple of weeks, they definitely should have recovered most or all of their actual investment. And we believe that's going to bring a lot more long-term holders into the Shieldcoin family. And that's exactly what we want. Chris, before I go into the actual announcement, is there anything you want to add?
Yeah, I would just add on just for like full transparency with everybody. This event in itself, it really is just like a two-part. We want to extend that invitation to all these people who did just get scammed. Um, that the only way that works though is if we also hit it with some good marketing at the same time to even make them aware that they have received the shield coin and what shield coin does. So it's kind of like an all-encompassing tactic that we decided to take. We know and realize that we hit marketing a little slow early on, and in an attempt to make up for that, we did some pretty large buys against the chart earlier today, and as well, deploying these tokens to all these people, we've greatly increased our holder count. We've improved the chart a little bit, put some metrics in place that just look appealing for new investors. And then now also hitting the ground running with new press articles and a bunch of other stuff that's going on. New videos, banners, press articles, all types of stuff. All of that coinciding together, we're really hoping will give like a nice little kickstart to everything. And what everybody actually ended up receiving was 1.275 billion
Okay.
Shieldcoin tokens. Cool. And just about all of those are out. There were some that for some reason they could not receive those tokens.
Okay.
So like 11 of the 1,200 did receive them though.
Okay.
Okay.
That
All right.
sums it all up. And actually, we're going to do a post on that, and we'll just kind of put it out there today, or right after the AMA, and we'll just start retweeting. Let those people know. I know a few members of the community are aware of some of those members, and that's actually why we'll put it out on a tweet. Just let as many people know as possible. They can decide what they're going to do. All right, so now going into the news that everyone's here for, honestly. And this we're really excited about it as well. We were really thinking through how to give our holders more flexibility, particularly with protecting holdings that they already had. And what we ended up doing or deciding to do is upgrade the crypto insurance feature. So everything that's been in place will stay in place. That's always a possibility. We're not changing anything on that end. What we're doing is adding another feature that everyone can use to kind of move around their coverage, their protection. And essentially, it's going to function like FDIC for bank accounts. And we're going to launch an NFT line that will be the first insurance certificate on the blockchain. And I'll actually post in the chats an image of what the template is going to look like. Each NFT will have its own unique certificate number, but you can put that in a single wallet and you can move it around as you need to for a blanket $1,000 level coverage. So that means if you have original investments in any tokens in that wallet, up to $1,000 of your actual investment will be blanketed covered. So if something happens with any of those tokens, even if we haven't reviewed them, we haven't cleared them, given them a rating, or whatever the case may be, you can still have some protection. And every 30 days that renews. So you'd only be able to do it up to $1,000 per month. It requires at least a $10 minimum transaction buy each month to keep it active. Otherwise, it just goes dormant and you activate it whenever you need it. It will substitute for the $250 minimum shield coin holding. So if you have the NFT, you don't need to maintain the $250 minimum. It doesn't fluctuate in value, so you don't have to keep watching your wallet to make sure your price dips below 250. You have to make sure it maintains that level. It allows you some more flexibility, and then of course you can move it between wallets as necessary. If you have a hot wallet, you can keep it there. If you have a cold store wallet, you can keep it there. It's up to you how you want to use it. Another good feature about it too is that any reflections paid in BUSD, the stablecoin specifically, will be considered original investment. So up to $1,000 of that is also protected. So if you're holding Shield Coin and it builds up to $1,000 in reflections, that $1,000 is still protected under that blanket coverage, even though you didn't put it into the system. It's just earned income in the stablecoin. So we're really excited about this. And actually, our next press release, the one that's going to get circulated through Yahoo Finance, Yahoo Money, and across the world, really, that's going to be the core of that specific announcement. So we think that's going to gain a lot of good traction, get a lot of good coverage, and we should see some price movement in the next couple of days as the people start recognizing that. And we'll reiterate it again sometime next week in another press release. Yeah.
If it's cool with you, I'm going to put my own little spin on that real quick,
Yeah,
just to
go
give
ahead.
some just to give some clarity and some excitement to everybody. So what we're talking about here is an NFT. It's just a generic insurance certificate NFT, but with the purchase of this NFT, you've already met your requirements. So if you just purchase and hold this NFT, you automatically always will have your crypto insurance. As well, you are then enrolled in the wallet insurance program as well. So any type of token or coin that you're participating in, no matter what it may be, that is going to be covered up to what was the number? $1,000?
Yeah, $1,000 blanket coverage.
$1,000 blanket coverage. This is an easy thought process here, guys. I can pay this for it and I'm covered for this amount. It's much more and it covers everything. Now, you can't continuously make claims against that $1,000. It works the same way any other insurance policy will work. Your coverage is, your amount of coverage is reduced upon a claim for the remaining balance of that coverage. But this is very simple. Hold this NFT, you have insurance, and now if you conduct additional purchases on Shield Coin during your monthly rollover event, that's when you expand on your coverage for all of those rated insured projects that we have.
Yeah.
This should make it really easy to explain to people is a big thing. If people are, we've got kind of convoluted a few times in the past about explaining how it works. And all of the old stuff is still in place. So if you don't want to purchase an NFT because you just don't care to, purchase your Shield Coin, hold your Shield Coin, have that minimum balance of 250, and you're still enrolled in the exact same crypto insurance coverage. But if you would like to expand your coverage options and really cover a lot of the tokens that a lot of us get involved in, that let's just be honest, it's not necessarily a from a insurance standpoint or from a financial perspective, a uh, a risk-free investment. So it's maybe not something that Shieldcoin would cover on a 10-to-1 ratio, but they understand the space. And this is a way of introducing a level of coverage, even though it is a little bit less, a level of coverage for some of the projects that are really young and haven't actually made it to that risk-free level that we really want to cover on a larger scale, share that risk.
Mm.
Um, I hope that explains a little bit better. I hope whenever you're explaining this to other people and you're talking about what your options are and how they can get involved in the ecosystem, this will help you give you the better tools to explain it to other folks.
Yeah. And that is, I mean, that's really, it's groundbreaking stuff. No one has anything like this on the market right now. And every time I bring this up with these companies that I'm actually in discussions with, they see this value as something that is going to change the space, not just for a small project like ours, but also for something like getting more legitimate coverage from banks, considering the value in this space. People lending money to startups that are using crypto as the basis for launching their actual businesses. So this is very important stuff, and we're basically building out the backbone of what's going to be the future of crypto businesses, and that's really exciting to me. It's really exciting in the space, and we're definitely going to make sure that people know that Shield Coin is leading the way on that.
Absolutely. And again, just to reiterate, we did that airdrop. That airdrop is done. Our holder count has greatly increased. We do have a fairly healthy looking chart. Good, could always be better. We are working on that. We are pushing new advertising and marketing initiatives as we speak. Those will continue to expand and grow. The key thing was to try to make sure that our metrics looked right, that while we're pushing this new marketing, and giving these announcements and allowing you guys to go and shill this information, that hopefully whenever you're talking about this within the community, they're going to go and they're going to look at those metrics and they're going to say, hey, this is growing pretty quick, or hey, this is looking good. Let's go ahead and hop on this train now. That's the hope, and we will see how these efforts work out. Are there any questions about the actual the new product itself, the NFT? Do we have exact release dates on that, Yushua?
We're targeting at least April. It's going to be out by April 30th. So end of April it'll be live. And once it goes
Okay.
live, we actually will make that announcement. I think we have a question too.
I know also you might want to check the chat because I know earlier I had issues getting people up and down from here. Like, but here we go. Let's try this guy out. So
Hey
How's it
guys,
going?
I may have missed it. Did you mention how much the NFT would cost?
It's going to cost 280. So it's going to
280.
be just above the minimum holding, but it doesn't fluctuate, and that's why we set it up a little bit higher. It won't have a fluctuating price.
Okay. No,
Yeah.
that's cool.
and just to give anybody and everybody here reference, just the way that these NFTs will be able to quickly boost our internal infrastructure is fantastic. The funds that are raised from these NFTs are going to just go directly into the vault for our capitalization. So we've talked in the past about different capitalization levels and how we are going to shift the business model as those levels are met. And these are the types of things that we're talking about. Being able to build that vault up to have a higher level of general coverage for everybody that's involved makes it to where everybody who is participating is just that much safer. And we could handle a larger event if a large event ever did occur.
Any other questions? As we start putting out more information, we're actually going to update the white paper so to reflect this new information. it won't go live again until the NFT system is out and up and posted on the website. But we will start putting out the information early on so people can start reading it and understanding what it actually is doing. But just again, reiterating, it is blanket coverage for all of your original investments across any tokens, even tokens that we still would rank high risk. So if you already own it, you purchase it later, you still have some coverage of your money in that token. But if you use it in that month, you have to wait another month before it reactivates. And of course, there is a minimum $10 buy transaction, and that just keeps the volume moving with those type of that type of certificate.
Okay, so now I have a question. And I feel bad that I have this question, but I have to ask it, and because I'm sure it might be in somebody else's mind as well. So my general thought process behind it before we came live now was
Mm.
that your NFT would act as like that $1,000 coverage, but if you used it, it would actually burn value on that coverage. Is that not the case? Does the next month do you still have that $1,000?
The next month, if you reactivate it, yes, you still have that $1,000.
Oh, so that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Okay. So in theory, like let's just say in theory, you something happened to you this month and you ended up claiming it and you got that full $1,000 payout, then very next month if something else happened to you, would you get another full $1,000 payout?
Yes, that's actually how we designed it.
Okay, all right. I was just making sure. That's
Yeah,
fantastic. Good news. Good information
yeah,
to have.
and it's good because you can move it around. A lot of people, you can move it around, but if you lose access to that wallet that holds it, you basically lost your NFT. Um, just be aware of that. We won't go back and say, well, you had it on the previous wallet because we don't know who owns every wallet. Uh, just putting that out there. Yeah,
I own every wallet.
exactly. Um, oh, actually, that was the other item. So in the discussions with chain analysis, and this is what we're actually discussing based on what their software can do. We're looking at also being able to add an additional service, a utility that we hadn't really planned on, but would be very much a part of how we're using their system anyway. And we believe it would bring in more holders by basically providing people that are scammed or something happens as basically a service to review that as we would an actual claim coming in. And what that would do is allow people to say, okay, I got information now on a scam that occurred, where my money went. If it terminates based on like what we can get from their actual system, because they have a lot more data points than we would ever have, you can determine whether or not you'd be able to take that to law enforcement in your specific country and actually file a claim, like an actual like loss, like a theft loss. That service would just be at our basic shield coin holding price. Someone would just have to create a buy transaction if they're not already a holder. If they are holder, they just need to do. We'll put a set a different minimum. That buy transaction would serve as the payment, and that would be our utility for using that service. And the reason being is we already have to pay in chunks for how many times we can use that coverage throughout the year. So it's several thousand. So if we're not receiving all those in claims anyway, and we're already paying for it, we might as well use it for our community or the community writ large. So we're using those, making those transactions, making it useful. So getting more value to our holders that way. And that's just going to come out based on what we end up deciding which software to go with. But both of them look really good. We just want to make sure that we're getting the best value.
And I would
Cool.
say that I would assume that most people here in this space right now, like they're not quite sure on why they should or should not be excited about something like that. But it really is useful, and it might not be like extremely pragmatic for like a end retail user who may or may not already have difficulty navigating the space, but it's definitely going to be extremely valuable um, for certain projects as well as certain individual users that do that transaction sleuthing and stuff like that. I can already think of many other projects though that like once we had it available, they'll be knocking on our door all the time, just asking us to gain access to such a service.
Yeah. And again, we'll be the only people in the space that has it. So everything's going to flow through us first. until everyone figures out how they're going to copy us. And we are seeing a lot of that as well. So it's good. It's a lot. It's a lot going on, and we're doing a lot in the background. And I know, again, it's in the weeds, but I'm trying to make sure the community knows what we're doing, so that things are actually coming on pretty well. All right. Any other questions? Could be our shortest AMA, Chris.
Well, I have a request, but it's Milo the Explorer, but I don't think his hand's actually up. There it is. Okay. Milo, I did approve you, but now you have to accept it. I think. Maybe I did something wrong. No, no, yeah. So Milo, if you do still want to come back up, then just hit accept, and if you don't, there we
There
go.
it is.
I'm here. So thank you guys to get this AMA up and running. A couple of questions. The software evaluation that you guys are doing, is this your core feature will be based on this software, or is this the software that will give access to information out there so that you can build your own, insurance operationally active? If you can give a little bit of color, that would be great. And the second question is, how are you guys set up operationally to handle all these claims? And
Right.
I'll take answers offline.
So that's what the software is for. The software is dealing with the claim on the back end. It's not dealing with how we're actually rolling out or using our insurance. It's just processing the claim to provide more information as they come through and to do it on a much larger scale. Right now, it's more manual, but as claims get bigger, that's just not feasible. So we wanted the software to do more of that, of what we're already doing manually or what we can do manually, and to also go much more in depth into the blockchain to see how many hops away money's moving around. So that's what the software is for.
All right. So this partnership with the software firm will help you enable operationally this concept and this product.
Yeah, the claim side of it, yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
The use case and utility is
the road for a specific contract, and they'll use the base contract address to start looking at trying to create those flags or those red flags for that to identify them earlier. So it'll also improve our ability to do the business analysis on these projects. So it won't just be a CERTIC audit; it'll be an evaluation of the main contract based on those red flags as well, and we can customize it. So as I learn more and as I see more, I'll be updating that to see what I can actually learn and figure out.
Yeah, understand phenomenally. You guys have a first mover advantage in the product, right? That you're offering and utilizing an existing infrastructure to leverage that is the great, fantastic.
Yeah.
I had asked another question on TG, but let me ask that. You have a giant capitalization.
Say again. Wait for him to come back in. I'm gonna check TG, see if I see his email.
I can't hear it, but I have an idea of where he was going with it. He was talking about the fact that we have a large capitalization goal for the HODL vesting. I think that's what he was going to get into. All I heard was large capital, but I think that's what it was.
Okay. And he wanted to know kind of why it is set at that $5 million mark. You think that's what it?
I would say that he's probably going to be curious about why is it that level? What's significant about that level? And then maybe even more importantly, what are your plans and goals to reach that level?
Right. Oh, okay. I'll start answering. If he jumps back in, I'll kind of adjust course. So again, the $5 million capitalization level is a combination between cash in hand as well as market cap. The reason we set that market level at that, or that capitalization target at 5 million, is because in the United States, who has the majority of our holders, 5 million is the highest for any state that a property insurance company has to have as their total value. And the reason being is that's just minimum regulation law. We do want to start preparing ourselves to meet a lot of those state regulations, because as we continue to grow, we're going to definitely start drawing more attention from government authorities, and that's going to require us to meet those requirements anyway. If we already hit those marks, then it's just a matter of filing paperwork. If we haven't, then it's going to be a little bit more difficult, and it could become problematic just dealing with people in general, dealing with different authorities in general. Once that's done, the other reason is, of course, so you have enough funds, liquid funds available to pay claims. We're first and foremost an insurance company, and in this space, we're the only ones. So that's kind of one of those. If we're not setting the standard, we're basically leaving the door open for a second tier or third tier version of us to emerge and start like competing too hard. If we're setting the standard high, it becomes a lot more difficult for new entrants to try to take over the same space. So we're basically setting the standard for crypto insurance writ large.
All right, and just how are you going to reach that level? Besides the market cap.
So selling of the NFTs is a portion of that. That's building it up. The vaults, reflections, that all this is factoring into that actual market cap. But in addition to all those, when we start purchasing the other businesses, the value of those assets in those businesses will be factored into that as well. And the reason being is, worst case scenario, if you're liquidating because you need to pay a claim or whatever case may be, you have real assets that actually can be liquidated. So if we hold Bitcoin or we hold Ethereum or BNB as they continue to appreciate, all of that is going into that capitalization of 5 million. And I don't know if you were in one of the earlier AMAs, but the goal is to start with our current holdings of BNB, because that's what we're generating a lot of it in the BUSD. We'll still then start using some of the portion of the team wallet in actual, like from reflections, to start purchasing Bitcoin and Ethereum. And that will just be additional holdings held in one of these wallets. Beyond that, it'll then go into the first business, which we've talked about before. It is a logistics business. It'll be several FedEx routes throughout the United States. And we believe it's a very stable business to be in now, because moving supplies is always valuable. Logistics it's a pretty much economic proof business, and we want to make sure we hold to some of that as well. And that's all that factors into capitalization. And when we hit that mark, we will make an announcement, of course, so people know what it is and how we got there.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it.
No worries.
I'd also just like to say, whenever we're talking about stuff like that, it's a little bit different than you hear other projects talk about it. There's not like a direct line of, hey, we're investing this and this is increasing your holder value. It's not necessarily the case on all the different types of investing that will be going on with Shiltcoin. A lot of it is going directly towards claim value, backing up that capitalization for the claims and the expansion of insurance options, because it's not like the two insurance options that we've rolled out so far are the only ones that are available. This is a business that will live, breathe, and grow and shift as time goes on. As far as raising capital for these things, a lot of it will be done initially in the traditional project. It'll be done initially with the typical token project concepts that you've seen, but Ushua has big plans and a track record of execution on how to actually bring and raise real world value and wealth, and he will apply that into this system to help with the back end capitalization. And then again, the holder perspective from all you hodlers out there, A lot of the events that take place within the actual crypto space is where you'll see the direct shield coin value pay you your dividends and
Right.
such.
And just kind of tag on to that again. A lot of people know that I am a former veteran. I'm a former U.S. Marine. On the business side of that, with SBA loans and government contracts, I actually get preferences in both of those situations. So if we buy a business that can potentially do business with either a state level government or the U.S. government, we will get preference because I am a minority owned veteran applying for that specific contract. Having been a former contract officer, I know exactly what they're looking for. So getting those contracts actually won't be as difficult, and I know how to navigate that system. So that again, that brings value because now if you get a government contract, that's a long-term recurring income for one of those businesses, and that's what I'm aiming for. Using the SBA loan, the Veterans Advantage, I know how to use a lot of those tools because I have used them already, or I've already prepared myself to use them for what's to come. That adds a lot of value. That means we can buy $1 million business for $200,000 of actual shield coin funds. That allows us to leverage more, get more, and build out the business much faster. And that's very valuable in the business world. And then, of course, we can use the tax deductions to offset the profits we are making. So more of that goes back into our actual token to appreciate the value and create volume. So I've gone through these processes. I've thought through exactly how we're going to do these things. We're just basically allowing right now, focusing on marketing because getting people to know about us is our most important aspect of the project right now. And a lot of people are asking us to do a lot of postings and advertising like PooCoin, which again, they have their value, but there's a much broader level recognition we need for this project because we need it to be legitimate in the general public's eyes. So that's taken a lot more effort, and that's why we've rolled out what we call enmeshing, which is high-level marketing where you're getting coverage in newspapers like Yahoo Finance. Once we hit our CMC listing, we're going to target like Bloomberg, NASDAQ, and Streetwise, things like that, like high-level finance outlets. We're also doing the organic level, of course. So we're going to keep doing competitions. We'll come up with something that's really going to get a push as our holder base grows and just to let more people in our target market, Twitter, Discord, Telegram, know what we're doing, know that we're here, kind of getting that out there. Getting on a few of the exchanges, getting on BotaSwap should help a lot. And getting on, if we can get on the Wi-Fi exchange, decentralized exchange, that'll also be one of those pushes, just gets us in front of more eyes. Getting out there is valuable. We're going to be here for the long term. So it's not about a quick push to the, $1 million or $10 million. We're trying to go much further than that, but we're trying to do it in a way that's sustainable. That's our target right now. But as we grow, this is going somewhere. This is going to be a legitimate business, and it will probably become the standard for what most businesses in the space do moving forward. It won't be just hype. It'll be, we're really doing something. These are real utilities that people actually need and want, and then we're going to go from there. And we'll build out additional utilities as it makes sense for the project.
Yeah, I think phenomenal. Hearing all of this is really helpful, and Meta Captain being your partner in this helps take advantage of both expertise simultaneously. I think your branding of intersection of regular economy and crypto economy is where this project fits in, right? People will be able to perceive this is where the two economies, regular economies and crypto economies, intersect and start to offer advantages of both to each other. So
Yeah,
I'm sure you're going to get that kind of recognition if you position yourself to Yahoo Finance and Bloomberg. Guys, this is the use case of crypto platform for a regular business concept of insurance.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, as Meta Captain said, there will be use cases that will emerge, which will make this product stronger. Good luck, guys. Thank you.
Yeah. No, we've talked about how like other projects having swap options and stuff like that is not enough for them to be a great rated project, just if that's like their only major option. As far as just like financial security, it might be a great project and they might have great things down the road, but if that's all they're offering like at once, we might not necessarily give them a high risk rating. That
Right.
being said, if you're offering, a good portal for people to be able to actually get involved and have insurance coverage, it might be something that we look at in the future of making our own on ramp directly from fiat into the crypto space and having something like that in house that we can
Right.
take advantage of to pull people in from that mainstream market and give them direct access to a secured portal and let them get their insurance coverage right then and there, all at the same time on the same site, um, given to them by, again, a secured, trusted, well-known platform.
Right.
The other thing I wanted to say real quick is if you watched Adam Bergman's video, you can tell, like, if you know anything about that guy and his background, he really is from the actual financial world. He spent a lot of time covering like true stock investments and stuff before he ever covered any DeFi projects or anything. So like that's where his like actual video background comes from. Well, you can tell like the wheels are spinning in his mind whenever he's talking about Shield Coin and he's looking it over because he knows that a lot of this verbiage and the stuff that you're hearing and the stuff that is getting talked about in the white paper and in the coin risk rating and everywhere else on the website, it's all directly related to like true investment markets and how they handle themselves and how they conduct themselves. Again, not my space. I'm complete DeFi maxi, but these are guys that they do operate in that space and they like that space and they feel comfortable and secure and they spend more money in that space.
Right.
So you can get a little bit of that over here. It seems like a win-win. Just seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah. And that really does go to the core of our mission statement. We are trying to bring smart money, institutional money into this space. Every couple of days, I see an article about how to add crypto to retirement investments. The demand is there. The problem is the fear of loss. If we can get rid of that fear of loss, particularly by our general branding, it's going to go a long way to bringing a lot of that money over. We may actually hit our target of bringing in multi-trillion just into the space, and maybe not into our project specifically, but into the space. And if we're well positioned for that money to flow through us before going into the space, then you're going to see a huge market capitalization of our project specifically, and that's what we're aiming for. It's a
Yeah,
lot of work, but go ahead.
I think, I'm just imagining why, right? If I'm a new, I want to bring a new project into the space,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going there and marketing and attracting, ICO, and want to list on some platform, and I say, guys, I'm going to offer you an insurance coverage for your investment from Shield Coin,
Mm.
right? I, I mean that will be a big statement. As I say, okay, I am Certic audited and I'm Wi-Fi audited and I'm this and I'm that, but I'm also going to give you an insurance coverage of 50% from my side and 50% you can buy from your side or something like that. And they
Right.
approach you and sign a partnership. And as part of their ICO, they say, we have partnered with Shieldcoin. This is their, risk rating of high, but they are also going to be offering insurance. That might be a big statement. Every new project wanting to partner with Shieldcoin to offer insurance coverage, right, at their own cost. I don't know how that's going to work out, but that's a possibility.
Yeah, it definitely is. We definitely want to make sure we're very careful on which, if we do make partnerships, just because, again, in insurance, our reputation is very, very valuable. If we lose our
Right.
reputation, it's gone. But a lot of that partnership wouldn't even be necessary. If they come to us and just get a rating from us out the gate
Yep.
based on their actual utility, that could be enough for them to say, hey, we've been cleared by Shieldcoin at this level. That's where we're starting off with, and we intend to go further from there. That's perfectly fine. They can add any additional insurance they want at their project level, but it wouldn't impact us and our holders. And that's more of the relationship we prefer to have. Again, because first and foremost, we are an insurance company, but we also have holders who invested in this project last week from the day we launched. We want to protect their investment, not just as an insurance company, but as the growth potential for their holdings, and that's very valuable to me because I treat this as a endeavor that it's gonna go a lot further than this. And our early holders, our early adopters, I want to reward that. Actually, even our NFT, that gold emblem, if you look on either the two chats, I just posted a version of it. That gold emblem is only going to be available for the first 10,000. And I know that sounds like a large number now, but when we hit 100,000, a million holders, and I do intend to hit those numbers, the golden NFT will be the only ones with the golden shield. Everyone else will have a different color, a different branding for it. And we did that specifically to give early holders and early adopters that first version of an NFT that will find some way to reward that as well. We'll create lotteries and we'll do something to that effect, but it'll only be applicable at certain levels to the gold holders.
Massive question for you. Because I don't think you answered this and we've gone over it. Can I stack my NFTs?
What do you mean stack them?
Can I have 5 NFTs in my wallet and have $5,000 coverage?
I haven't actually thought about that. But the reason we haven't let me iron out the numbers for that. I mean, there really shouldn't be a problem with it, honestly, because if you bought the NFT, the NFT functions. Then you'll just be applying insurance to each one of them. So it's not actually beyond the realm of possibility. I just need to run back through the numbers to make sure that there's no issues with that. My biggest issue isn't with coverage; it's with scamming it. So that's a good question.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
you're good. I don't know why I never thought about it. I just thought about it just now, and I was like, wait, I guess I could just stack a bunch of NFTs in one wallet and then have a lot of coverage.
Right. I mean,
because it would be great. I mean, if you could spend like $1,000 one time, and then you always have $4,000 coverage every month in that wallet. Hey,
yeah. I mean, because that's exactly how I would think about doing it too. Actually, yeah, it would make perfect sense. And then actually, we wouldn't actually have to increase the coverage level on per NFT. It just leaves it as you just buy another NFT. But again, you only want to insure what you need to insure, not go too far above it.
Yeah, and then and let me know. I can make sure or actually you can set a max exemption on the wallet, so you can stop them from having any more than you can set whatever limit you want. If you only want them to have like 2 or 3 in per wallet, you just make that in the contract, so then they can't violate that.
Yeah,
hard rule.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That question will be answered when I update the white paper with that a new edition anyway. So I'll make sure to address that specifically.
And when are these NFTs coming on the market?
We're expecting by April 30th. If they're done and ready earlier, we'll make the announcement and we'll launch them earlier.
Got it.
So it'll be this month. They're already in the works.
Right.
Yeah.
So you will be getting calls from projects that say, hey, you guys have risk rated me as medium.
Yeah.
What can I do to mitigate the risk to bring it to high, right? Those conversations will keep happening.
Yeah, and we've already done it for at least 1 or 2 projects already. They've asked us, like, why were we rated this way? We let them know what it was. The individual projects leads can actually reach out to us and get that information. We won't go into detail because we don't want our general business analysis to be reverse engineered. But we will give you a general gist of what specific components cause it, which it does. It points to what we're looking at, but it doesn't give you the full picture of what we're looking at. And we do that to help projects. We're not trying to kill projects. We're trying to make sure that investors are safe in the space. Investor protection is our main focus. The insurance does a portion of it, but pre-vetting the projects does the other half of that. And making that's why it's free. If you go to the website, anyone can go to the website and look at it. You don't have to be a Shieldcoin holder. That creates that that trust relationship, and it's objective. So even if I like the person that runs the project, my risk rating doesn't change for them. I'm not going to give them a better rating. I'm just going to wait to see what they do with the information that we provide.
And just to elaborate on that, again, I want to fall back on the fact that like this is not at all, is this project good or bad just on a general level. It's a legitimate risk rating sharing agreement. So not all the time is the information that's given or the reason why we view it as a riskier option. Not always is that going to be something that a project necessarily even wants to change.
Exactly.
I'm not going to, yeah, I'm not going to give an exact name, but I can think of an example of a project that I know that has unlocked liquidity. And if they just locked their liquidity, they would go a whole long ways to clearing their name a bit, you know? But in their model, it's not actually beneficial for them to lock their liquidity. So that's just a situation where both parties have agreed that they are where they are. You know, hey, if you guys wanted to do that, it would look better and we could boost your rating. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. That's cool. And everybody walks away amicably. Like that's just, it is what it is. And hopefully that project is still safe and does its thing and everything's good there and so on and so forth.
Yep. And I think I actually reviewed them and I already told them what it was and I think that was one of the recommendations, one of many, or I think one or two or three. But we told them, this is one of the things you can do today, tomorrow, and it would increase your rating, or at least start making things look better for you. I don't think I saw any movement on that.
And a lot of times, a lot of that really is just true. Like a lot of the stuff that, and I don't know all the stuff that goes into the rating, that is something that is handled by Ushua, but a lot of the stuff really is just like general concepts, like good investor tactics. Like, hey man, lock your liquidity. You know, like simple stuff like that you think every project has under control. Some of them just they don't. And yeah.
Yeah. And they may have legitimate reasons for it, but if they do have a legitimate reason, we still won't change our rating, but they still should make it very much available for the public to know why it is that way. That just transparency in general tends to go a long way with these projects, especially with this new generation of projects. A lot of the projects that came before us, no one knows who runs them. No one knows who's behind them. There's basically no transparency. But the current project, it's almost an expectation now. Docs teams, contract audits. These expenses that now are coming up just to get your project off the ground, that's a layer of transparency that didn't exist even 6 months ago, a year ago. So things are changing, but we have to start promoting this as like the standard. Otherwise, scam projects just come through too easily. And again, there's a lot of projects that are not scams that we consider high risk, but simply because of their business fundamentals, not because of who they are. It's not financial advice, it's business advice. If I'm a business, if I'm a lender, if I am an investor, I'm not going to put my money into these high risk projects without understanding what that risk is. If I think there's a huge payoff, I'll still put my money into it. There's still a project I invest in now that I still can rate high risk. I will still put money into them because I think there's still a potential payoff. But again, I have to be ready to lose that money. And that's any project, but those high risk projects especially.
If you're here, you know I'm a DJ. I toss money at anything.
I was like that for a while too, but it's like, let me manage that risk a little bit. I don't want to lose everything all the time.
Dude, if cat is in its name, I'm buying it. If it says cat, kitty, I'm buying it.
Cat inu. Yeah, all those. All right. Any other questions? Any other comments? Another few minutes before we get off this phone call. If nothing,
it just means that you reviewed everything well. It means that you talked so well and sold everything so good that there's no questions because everybody's just too happy to go buy some more.
Yeah, I think there's going to be more questions in the Discord later, kind of just trying to flesh it out. But they may come after I update the white paper and then make that announcement. I do like the stacking idea though, because I really want to make these like our different utilities just beneficial for our holders. Like use it strategically, but play the game the best way you can, really, with the tools you're given. I do that in the real world, so I'm not going to try to limit it too much in the crypto space. I like innovation, as you all can see.
Can I
Oh,
go with
that's
the last?
very
Can I
interesting.
can I go with the last question? Sorry about that. Is the insurance coverage available only for the projects that Shieldcoin has rated?
For the general crypto assurance, yes. For the NFT, no. The NFT is blanket coverage. We're not looking at the project. We're just giving you, if you hold the NFT, you have blanket coverage up to $1,000 of your original investment. It's not project specific. That coverage is technically separate from crypto insurance, but they do build on each other. And you can layer it. So you have the blanket coverage. You can then still go get extra coverage on projects we have reviewed and have rated. So that is one form of layering that does exist. And I think actually, Chris,
And
that would be the cheaper way of actually doing it anyway. If you're already investing in projects that are covered, then you don't need to buy multiple NFTs. You would just buy the regular crypto insurance for that. You could
yeah, but if
only
you just wanted to have like a stacked DGen wallet, like, hey, I'm gonna throw 4 of these NFTs in this wallet and then just bet on anything, then you could.
right.
I'm just
Yeah, you,
saying.
you definitely could. You definitely could. Well, because you're protecting your investment. So yeah,
Yeah. No,
we
so
both.
and like
Yeah.
to
Go ahead.
to expand on that though, what he was saying, like, all right, so again, the real basis of this is that so you once you buy this NFT, you now have your base $250 crypto assurance coverage. That's our
Correct.
utility number one.
Correct.
And you also now have $1,000 worth of base wallet coverage.
Correct.
Okay, so what that means is really in all reality, if you have the NFT, you actually end up with $1,000 base coverage, and that'll count $250 towards the actual crypto assurance. And the reason why that's different is because the rules behind that coverage are different. So the wallet coverage is just a general coverage. That's the $1,000. That's what you're covered for. But the crypto assurance coverage for those ratings, the risk sharing agreement is for a percentage. So if we are covering an item that's of medium risk, I believe that's 50% coverage, correct?
Correct.
Correct. So that's 50% of whatever your purchased insurance was. So if you had to make a claim against that at the very beginning of the month, and you would or at the very beginning of your cycle, and you had never purchased any more coverage, no matter how much you were covered, your actual only ability to claim for value is 50% of that medium risk um,
Of your original
project.
investment for that project. Yep.
Of your original investment. I know that sounds a little bit more convoluted. Again, that's why we came out with these NFTs to make it just a bit simpler.
No.
But point being is they are still two separate policies. And
Correct.
if you want to expand your general crypto assurance coverage, you need to make a purchase every month. You can still sell that immediately. You don't have to hold on to it, but you need to make $100 purchase, sell that $100 purchase, and you're granted an additional $2,000 worth of coverage.
Correct. In its simplest form.
Hmm.
All right, that's the hour
Yeah.
actually. We can keep going, but I don't think there's a lot of questions right now. I don't see any hands up. Were there any questions in the AMA real quick before I?
Oh yes, actually, not a question, but we should just do this. I was noticing that the ticker on the contract is SHC Shieldcoin, and the
Mhm.
website it cites the ticker as Shield. So we need to change the website ticker to have SHC.
Okay.
I don't even know. I've never seen that error, but somebody else just pointed it out to me. Thank you, Gabbett. Gabe Chi. I'm sorry. What's wrong with me? Anyways, also, I don't see reflections happening in Trust Wallet, but I do see 0.05 cents in BUSD. So am I making reflections in BUSD? Correct. So this token itself is a reward token. We don't actually talk about the token very often as far as like just a token. But yeah, the token is a reward token that pays in BUSD. So the way that that works is depending on your size of your bag and the amount of volume going through the decks, it pays out once a threshold is hit. If we have high volume days, then and you hold a good bag, you'll get paid out every 45 minutes or less. If we have slower, lower volume days, like we are under currently right now, it might be a while in between actual BUSD deposits into your wallet. Everything is automatic. It does just show up there. But it will take a little while because it has to wait until it can cover that gas fee because it does cost money to send on the blockchain. So it has to exceed the value of gas, and then the contract will execute a distribution event and it will send BUSD reflections to everybody who has enough that has exceeded that level. As well, I do want to mention there's been some talk about the dashboard. We are currently in development on that. Again, we've just been busy working on many items going on all at the same time. And just to be honest with everybody, it kind of like I think slipped everybody's mind right up until launch. And then as soon as we did bring it back up into like relevance, it was one of those things like everybody was just really busy on other stuff that had to get done immediately. I am shifting gears heavy on that, and we'll make sure we get a dashboard up here in the next couple days that will track those BUSD reflections for you, and you can see what you've been paid since launch or since you've been holding, and if you're owed anything now.
Sounds
I think
good.
that's a very good utility because just from my experience, I have, let's say, getting BUSD rewards for other projects like Wi-Fi exchange, like,
Mhm.
right? So it comes in the same wallet. So I
Right.
do have a dashboard of Wi-Fi, so I'm able to track that separately, understand how much is coming from Shieldcoin,
Okay.
right? But if I have 3 or 4, then I cannot track it separately. So I think if you have a dashboard, that's my go-to place to see how much I have earned on BUSD rewards on Shieldcoin. So thank you for that.
That makes sense.
Absolutely. Not that I ever like to endorse any other project or their products, but if you do have a SafeMoon wallet and you add Shieldcoin to the SafeMoon wallet, you can then actually add it to the reflections tracker as well, and it will show you exactly how many BUSD reflections and chart it for you over time that you've received just for Shieldcoin in comparison to any other BUSD token you might have, like Meta BUSD.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Good information too. All right. If there's any more questions, again, just drop them in the Discord. Actually, I just got a message from another project that wants us to add them to the Iris rating. So I'm going to look into that. Again, they won't be in control what their risk rating will be, but I will do a fair evaluation and let them know, and then I'll add that to the next update to the CRR, which should be coming out in a couple of days. But that's all I have right now, and I'm looking forward to everything we're doing right now. It really is exciting on the background for me. I'm very excited about this project. I know I'm a very low-key type of person with that way, but I am very excited. We're doing a lot of stuff, and I think this is going to really change crypto for the better. So I'll be in the chat. If you have any questions, let me know. Chris, anything you have left? Last rounds?
Sorry, I got lost. I was like talking to people in DMs, thinking to find
No
my way
worries.
back. No, I'm good. I think we covered everything. I think everybody's at least somewhat happy. We've had some good chart action while we've been in this AMA, so I hope people are excited of what they're hearing. They're sharing it with their people because Shield has gone up and BNB has gone down. So that's a double good one right there. And we had already
Yeah.
made our purchases earlier, so it wasn't us inflating at this time. This is people actually getting out and buying. So
Yep.
thank you guys very much.
All right. And we'll be posting the winners for the retweet. I think if Henry hasn't done it already, we'll get that out here in a few minutes so they can contact us as well, especially for the Twitter. All right. Y'all have a good day. A good night.
Good night.
Bye.